Hello, this is Durjay Dasgupta, and I welcome everyone on Cricket with Sami's Facebook page. And we have a very special guest today, none other than the one and only Srinivas Chandrasekaran, who was the performance analyst of Bangladesh cricket team. Now he is working with Lucknow Super Giant, the Indian franchise. Hello, Srini, welcome to our show. How's life?
Very good. My pleasure to be here. Hope you're well as well and things getting back to normal in the country.
Yeah. So let's start with a question. Can you share an overview of your role as a data analyst with Bangladesh Cricket Board (BCB)?
Okay, my role with Bangladesh Cricket Board uh, was not only with the men's national team but also with the players who are upcoming or knocking the doors of the national team. So, like a team or an HP program. So, my role was to provide or strategize plans and what would work for them or what is needed in the national team or to come into the setup. So maybe analyzing their own game or analyzing whom they are going to play, or is there any fault in what they are trying to do, and also at times helping out selectors in possibly picking one odd player here and there based on the conditions we were about to travel to play or the opposition we were about to face. So it varied from time to time, but a very good role though. Like I could help a lot of people in and around the system.
Thank you so much. Can you provide an example of an insider finding from your analysis that led to a strategic change or improvement for the VCB?
For the BCB or for the PCB in terms of like picking players, like the number of fast bowlers, the mindset to play more fast bowlers. So that was driven by Otis, Allen. So there were a lot of guys who were driving towards it, but we were more a spin oriented team. We wanted to shift from spin to a pace heavy. So probably trusting these people to be given more games. So that was, and why they should be given more games. In terms of be it numbers or helping them saying the conditions would suit them or what style of bowlers they can pick going into there. And in terms of like during the game there were like a lot of occasions where my
Yeah.
suggestions to the captain or things which I said slightly kind of like made a difference in the game. I can give you an example of our own famous historic test win in Mount Manguni. Probably
Yeah.
the thing which comes to my mind is like we were I think like just playing three fast bowlers and a spinner. So we wanted one more spinner to come, and sometimes as a captain you always look for an options elsewhere. So my suggestion to Mominul was to bring himself on and see what happens. And then he got a couple of wickets in the first innings, and then in the second innings, like I felt like we were using Ibadat from a wrong end. So during the break, I just went and had a word with Mominul saying, why don't you try and push him from the other end, because the breeze was actually moving from the directions from one side of the dressing room to other, which would help Ibadat. So those little things, whichever you kind of like see, uh, help them in a way like that benefits the team. So at the end of the day, whatever you try and say should have an at least have a good chance or a possibility to make a difference in the outcome of the result, and that's what I believe in. Like whatever it is, just share it to the captain, have a right process, and see where it takes us.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. We have another guest today. Let me introduce him. So our another guest is Hon Mia, who is the chair of the board of Beep Community Partnership. He is joining with us from UK, United Kingdom. Hello, Hiron Bhai. Welcome to our show. How's life?
Life is good, Durjoy Bhai. How are you? And how are you,
I'm
Srinivas?
fine.
I'm doing good. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
So, so Hiron Bhai, I want to ask you a question. So, how do you enjoy last series of Bangladesh versus Pakistan? Bangladesh whitewashed Pakistan by 2-0. So let me ask a question from this. How do you enjoy this series and what was your opinion?
Yeah. So I enjoyed it very much. Shall I say? I think there were. This was a. It was a closely fought contest, which could have gone either way. You know, if you actually look at the game, because there were bits that Pakistan did well in, and there were bits that Bangladesh did very well in. And I think overall, I think from a Bangladesh perspective, obviously we're extremely happy with the result, because we've never really won in Pakistan. So for us, it's been fantastic, and yeah, you know, it's something for us to celebrate. And obviously, people like Srinivas, who's had an impact on the team with the work that he's done previously with them, I think that's come to show in the results now, and obviously into the development of Bangladeshi cricket.
So now back to Srini again. What was the most valuable feedback you received from the team based on your data analysis?
I think any win, anytime you win a game, it is kind of like rewarding. I would rather look at that way than actually any feedback or as such, because the most important thing is to gain the trust. For me, the best feedback I can get is gaining the trust of the players, and I felt like everyone in the dressing room trusted me, from the support staff to each and every player. Even the newcomer coming in knew that whatever input I had to tell him was more for his benefit. So that trust I had gained, and I think that was probably the best feedback I could ever get in any dressing room.
Yeah. Do you want to ask anything to Srini?
Yeah.
Then you can.
So in terms of like the player analysis, are you using any sort of kind of AI or any kind of modern method, software that is helping you to analyze data and performance?
Yes, I am tied up with one of the companies back in India, which provides me all the backend stuff, including all the softwares, which helps me in preparing for the game. And that company is based in Chennai as well, so I keep using them a lot, not just in Bangladesh, wherever I go, because they've got a good vast data of collections of videos and other stuff, which is very useful for me in preparing for the game.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Srini, I have another question to you. What are the difference between performance analysis in Bangladesh cricket team and Indian cricket team?
Oh, very good question, I would say. The thing which I found out was in the Indian cricket as such, even the first class or domestic level, there is an
Yeah,
analyst for every association, and there is an analyst from under 16 age group onwards. Plus, the guys who are getting selected on a regular basis before the under 19 World Cup also have and they go to NCA, where NCAs are also doing that zonal camps and other stuff, do have analysis. Whereas in Bangladesh, the real analyst, or the first time they do meet a analyst is during an under 19 World Cup or post an under 19 World Cup. So by the time they do come in and they start understanding what difference that person can make in his game, he's slightly 3 or 4 years behind than actually where the other teams are. So if Bangladesh can have a system where each team or each domestic team has an analyst, and that in a way is beneficial both ways, because then you can start grooming that person to be your national team analyst. Plus, it helps the player in his own development, or he can have a good feedback session, because at this moment, if you don't have an analyst, there's no video clips for him also to be seeing what is going right or
yeah,
what is going wrong. So
exactly.
there is no historic data being collected. So if that does happen, it will be beneficial both for the player as well as for the national team to have a local guy doing all that job.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hiran bhai, if you can ask him.
Yeah. So I'd like to know, Srini, in terms of your career so far, what has been the most memorable moment of your career? You know, in terms of where do you think you've had the biggest impact, or something that you feel really proud of?
So the things which I would be proud of is all the championship I won. So almost like I've got all the championship in the Indian domestic circuit and also like overseas leagues as well. In terms of my international commitment with Bangladesh, obviously there have been quite a few, like winning against India in an ODI series, winning in New Zealand, because most of the teams who travel to New Zealand, even they don't win a test match, even they get clean swept. So going there and winning a test match, it took almost like 3 tours to make a difference there, but at least that was there. and then coming to India again, traveling to India and winning T20 games. So what was good was like we were actually challenging the top teams. Initially, we were actually playing good cricket, but then we actually started winning series, like winning in South Africa, ODI series in South Africa. That never happened. Then we were challenged with an ODI Super League where we finished third or fourth in the points table because every game had a value to it. So those little things like where uh, previously before me coming in, I felt like we were playing good cricket, but we weren't able to cross the line. But then we started winning games as well. So which was actually, I would say, my memorable thing was to make a difference in that way with the international team. Even though we didn't win a big trophy, which I would love to, but I
Yeah.
felt the team was going in that direction to win that.
Yeah. So, Srini, do data analysts work in Indian first-class cricket?
Yes, sir. In almost like every team has one. Every association almost has three to four, and they assign it to all under 16, 19, women's team, all those. So there's two. The reason why they have association has is for one is for their players, and also even for the local umpires to get feedback about how they are doing, to find a process whether they are doing it well or there is some umpiring error. So it is beneficial if you have it in all ways because you can track your own players, track your own people, and at the end of the day, it is all that is happening only to give a good player to your country. So the grassroots level is good, then the system actually follows in the right way.
Srini, another question. I want to know what about last Pakistan series? Do you follow that series? And
Yeah.
what was
Uh,
your opinion?
So I was actually very pleased. So one thing I've always wanted is an overseas series win. So it was good to see Bangladesh coming up and doing that clean sweep. Because generally we as
Yeah,
a team, what has always happened is like even if we are winning a series, we never clean sweep them. Be it either 1-1 or a 2-1. We hardly do a 3-0 even in ODI series. So this is actually good. Like we were tested in every way because first game them declaring at 448 and then going on to win the
yeah,
test match by 10 wickets, and then second test you're almost under the barrel by being 26 for 6, and then Miraj and Litton
six.
putting
Yeah,
on the hand, and then all of a sudden you're changing the game and then winning it again convincingly from being way behind the game. So those are these little things which we always speak about, but then slowly things are coming into picture, and then seeing those big hundreds. Like one thing which I have realized, or you will see previously, was like a lot of guys getting out after 50s, 60s, or not going on to make those big scores, where big players do that. So to see Mushi doing that 191 or Litton going on to make that 138 contribution, so all those little things make a massive difference. And then tail supporting, like as much like Litton's runs are as much important as much as Hassan batting there. Hassan giving
yeah,
him that company. So all those little things added a lot of value. And then the best part was like the catching, like they were drop catches, but then some of the catches were
exactly.
like extraordinary.
Yeah,
The very first catch Zakir took to start the series. So that's a good way to start your first hour in a test match. So those little things actually make a
that
difference.
catch of Leighton Das,
Yes.
that Babala
So
Jones catch of Leighton Das.
with a
Yeah,
Litton
yeah,
Das catch. So in your first hour, you're 16, having them 16 for 3 with two of your like two good catches,
yeah.
kind of like lifts the morale. So it's actually very good to see the guys playing the way they did. I hope they do the same way in India as well. India will be a challenging because it's one of the most toughest places to come and play cricket at this moment. So it will be good. It will be good challenge coming with a high to come, and how they respond to this will be the biggest thing for
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
Yeah, the joy.
So
I just
another question.
question. Sorry,
Sure,
can I
sure.
just ask a
Kiran bhai.
question on that?
Sure, you can ask.
Srini, just like in terms of team analysis. So, like Pakistan in that first test, they went with four quick bowlers. Now, was the team analysis, did that have an impact there, or was it like the gut feeling of what the wicket was going to do? Is that what influenced them to kind of go with without a spinner, a frontline spinner?
There's a general perception across the world that Bangladesh struggle against fast bowlers, raw pace, genuine pace. So that always tempts opposition to play that extra seamer against us, like maybe it a seaming all rounder, where they feel like we are good players of spin coming from the subcontinental
Yeah,
nature. So that's why they always feel like their four fast bowlers or three fast bowlers will have more impact than actually a spinner coming in and doing that. But then having said that, the wicket didn't allow you to have the role, like they wanted an extra spinner in there. they felt like an Aga Salman with so many left-handers in there could make a difference. But whereas actually we tackled them really well, and what was pleasing was like the number of hours we made them bowl. So that kind of like made them make a change in the second test match as well. So Shine missing out, Nazim missing out, saying workload management, all those effects to what you have done in the first test match. So that also plays a part in the combination. They had to field in a relatively young fast bowlers for the second test match. So that little things also make a difference. Like you make them bowl a lot of overs in within a span of 3-4 days to play another test match is not that easy.
Yeah. So Srini, what about Shakib Al Hasan?
Obviously, the biggest superstar, one of the superstars in Bangladesh cricket by far, or in world cricket as well. Uh, if your question is Shakib as a cricketer, or I didn't understand what your question is, but if it's all about cricket, then
As
probably
a
he's
cricketer, how do you rate Shakib Al Hasan? That was my
very
question.
good. Very good. Like I've really enjoyed working with him. I worked with him in IPL, beat Bangladesh Premier League, international team. I've seen a lot of success
Yeah.
of Shakib in terms of bowling and batting. But one thing that I always tell Shakib, and one thing I, as a Bangladesh, when I was part of Bangladesh team, was I missed seeing Shakib test 100. So
Yeah.
Shakib can definitely make a bigger impact in that way. Shakib as a player is very valuable because he allows you to play combinations in different way, T20s, be T20s, test or something. But one thing you always gone closer to scoring a test 100, but I've never seen it Shakib's test 100. So that is always something which I always regret. But other than that, I've always seen a great World Cup, T20, be it in IPL. We have almost like reached the final together. So I've seen a lot of good things and I have a lot of good memories with him, good friendship with him. So, but one thing I miss is his test 100.
Yeah, I understand. Srini, another question for you. Will Miraj be the hack specter for India series? What do you think?
Uh, will be interesting. The Chennai will definitely be like he might enjoy bowling in Chennai, but being
Yeah.
an X factor, I think he has always been like the previous series when India was there.
Yeah, yeah.
He made a huge difference.
He
But this
was the
time it will
player
be
of the series. Yeah.
right. So it will be interesting to see how what kind of surface they'll give. Chennai generally traditionally 4 or 5 day you might see a bit of spin, but other than that, it will be interesting series. Like I would see like India would be more looking to be more positive against Miraj. They would not let him settle down because they have seen in the past saying that if you let him bowl the way he wants to, then he starts dictating. So probably they might be ultra aggressive against him. So it will be a challenge for him as well.
Yeah. Hiran bhai, have any question?
Yeah, so Srinivas, in terms of players like in the Bangladesh team, who do you think has improved most from the data analysis work that you've done with them?
I would say all the fast bowlers. Fast bowlers is one because batter wise always like before even before me going, I think like almost like there was an experienced setup already being put in place there. So there's only like Shanto, Litton, like a lot of few batters, young batters coming through the ranks or were making the uh, entry into the national team. But in terms of fast bowlers, we are way behind the
Yeah.
now where we should be, where should we should have been. But then to see that progress in Tuskin, Ibadat, Hassan, Khalid, name there are a lot of Mustafis. So there has been a good culture of fast bowlers or even Nahid, so Nahid in this series. So there's a good culture and they have become a good family and that improvement has happened because they have been like initially what I used to have conversation with him, I felt like they were tactically slightly behind, but now they have understood why they have been brought into this spell, why they have been given this role or why. So they have actually well in advance know what they are going to come up with. In that way, they are tactically much more aware and the skills have gone up huge numbers. Like the skills in terms of like beat execution of Yorkers, on pace deliveries, slow balls, knuckle balls. So there is a lot of improvements happening. Previously, we were like one dimensional, like bowling 125, 130. Now we have got enough variety in our, even from a left arm seamer point of view to a right arm seamers are also different in a lot of ways. And the best part is all can bowl in all phases of the game. So that has changed. Previously, we would have only Mustafiz bowling back end. Now you don't need even if Mustafiz is not playing, there is Tuskin to bowl, Hassan to bowl. There are
Yeah.
a lot of bowlers who will come and bowl, Shoriful to bowl. So there's a lot of options in there. So which is a good thing as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Srini. another question. Do you miss Bangladesh? How was your
Oh,
experience with Bangladesh cricket?
the experience, as I said, was like wonderful. Like the 4 or 5 years which I worked was like very good. Like
Yeah.
unfortunately, which is like the thing is like I would have loved to one mega event, or at least be in that position to win that. So that didn't happen. But other than that, like very good people enjoyed that atmosphere. And in fact, I do miss, but I do. But luckily for me, like I've made good friendship with them that I'm constantly in touch with them, irrespective of whether they're playing good cricket or they're not playing cricket. They have become more like a family to me. So I'm constantly in touch with them.
Did you learn any Bangla?
Yeah, sir. Like the thing
Yeah.
which will surprise many people is I can understand Bangla very well, but I cannot speak. I've understood like I understand almost like an entire conversation of it.
Okay. So if Bangladesh approach you to come back again in Bangladesh, will you be interested?
Never say never, sir. Obviously, one day if things do permit. But at this moment, I'm like committed with other teams and I'm like occupied with them for 12 months. So it will be unfair for me to give them false commitment. But definitely, one day if time permits and things work in favor, then definitely, sir. Why not? That's like a home to me as well.
Hiran bhai, I have a question for you already. Also, so my question is, what about Chandika Hathure Singh? How do you rate him as a coach?
Well, I think in terms of for Bangladesh, he's had a steady, he's been a steady hand and keeping the team together, and he's achieved some very good results.
Yeah,
Sometimes, they've been slightly beyond the expectation of the general fans. I think sometimes we have to be realistic as well as fans around what the team is capable of. So I think he's had some very good results. So for us, I think Hathra Singh is a very good coach, and I'm glad he's still with us.
Srini, same question for you also.
So first thing, it will be very unfair for me to say anything about the coach because I worked only with him for 2 or 3 months. Because the first tenure, when he was there with the national team, I wasn't there. But this time I was there for two,
Yeah,
3 months, and unfortunately, as a team, we couldn't have the World Cup which we thought we will. Like the 2023 World Cup was probably going to be the biggest thing for us, but unfortunately, we couldn't.
yeah,
For me, it is very simple, sir. Like whatever happens in bilateral doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what we do in an ICC event is what matters. So until and unless uh, the nation doesn't change ICC record, it is still an underperforming. At least we should like. I feel like we should be by now hitting semi-finals, finals consistently, and challenging the cup as well. So unless and until that doesn't happen, we can just keep participating. We can keep winning bilateral. But what matters is ICC tournaments.
exactly. So another question for Srinivas, what advice would you give to someone who is interested in a career in sports and data analysis?
So the first and the foremost advice is watch as many games as you can because there's so much to learn from different captains, watching different leagues, watching different players, how they go about. Because at this day and age, every ball or every game that is happening across the TV is
Yeah,
uh, planned in a meeting or pre-planned in a meeting. So if you can try and break that, saying why is that happening or why is that move being done, then slowly you'll start understanding the game situation, game awareness. And once you start understanding, then the job becomes a bit more easier. But the main thing is to have knowledge about each and every player that's each and every game that's happening around, not by following score, but by watching as many balls as you can so that that improves. And then slowly then you'll find your way, you'll know what the next thing is. But if you don't watch the game, there is no point. Like so I'll say watch the game and then enjoy it as well. Then there is
yeah,
a way to.
yeah. Hiran bhai, you can ask.
Yeah. Srini, in terms of obviously you're now working for the IPL and Lucknow, and so how has T20 influenced Test cricket? What would you say is the biggest kind of influence it's had on Test cricket?
Massive. The rate of scoring has actually gone up. So even previously, like just to give you an example of the first test match against Bangladesh Pakistan, 448 for 6 declared. That would take another 2 days for you to reach that score and then to make. So it was always going. If the teams were actually reaching that score again, it was previously going to be a dull, boring game. Day 5 was basically just a mere routine. But now with the scoring rate, you don't know what a good score is. What is a target to be given at the fourth innings? Because batters are actually coming out and ready to even chase down 350, 400 as well. So in terms of T20, and the good part is like the best part about T20 cricket and Test cricket is like they are ready to take more chances as well. We need to take more risks now. Like previously, you would see, let me play out a spell. Now the thinking is just different. If the guy bowler is actually bowling well, let me put pressure back on him by stepping out or hitting him, even in Test cricket, and see where it takes. One best example was how Litton took down Nazim Shah in that the last like post lunch. So those little things have all come out from T20 cricket, and now you see one of the best batters, Joe Root, playing reverse sweeps, uh, reverse slaps, and other stuff. So the
Yeah.
horizon has completely changed now.
Yeah, for me, I mean, the fielding is a massive area where you've seen, like incredible catches in T20 games, and
Yeah,
I think some of that has actually come into the Test game as well in terms of
definitely.
how they stop boundaries, how they take catches as well.
Yeah.
The athleticism as well from the T20 has definitely crept into
the
the highest.
overall game the overall game itself has been like, even for the spectators, like they have started enjoying. There have been a lot of guys who have actually started watching more Test cricket because the rate of scoring has improved. There's something happening almost like every 15 minutes or something like that. So previously you would have to wait for something to happen, but now there is something or the other happening every over. So it's interesting to watch as well for people who want the game to be slightly fast paced.
Yeah, thank you, Srini. So I have another question for you. How do you work in Indian Premier League IPL?
So it's a very long process, sir. So for IPL, like I do a lot of talent scouting as well. I go across and watch a lot of leagues, domestic cricket, domestic talent, move around from one state to another state, finding for one good player who can make a difference or who can serve the franchise for a longer period of time. And in terms of work, during the season or before the season starts, like 1 month, 1.5 months before itself, like I have all the stuff ready to get to the for the start of the competition, because once the tournament starts with 10 teams and each team coming out and playing completely different cricket, so it gives you very less time during the competition to make preparation. So it was very important that I do all the prep work before, and during the competition it is all about analyzing, saying what you have prepared and is that exactly what is happening in the game, or how is that the way they are trying to play. Then you start breaking out. If there is nothing, like if there is something different happening, then you try and break out what is the pattern of their play at this moment, or have they changed anything than what you have seen before. So those little adjustments I do during the tournament, but other than that, most of them it's been done well in advance.
Yeah, I understand. So
Do
Srini,
you? Sorry.
yeah, Hiran bhai, you can ask.
Yeah, yeah.
No problem.
Do you think we'll see more Bangladeshi players in IPL over the
Definitely.
coming years?
Definitely. If the one thing with Bangladesh players is, if they make sure that they are fully available, there will be a lot of players who will get picked. That's for sure. Because at this time, with 10 teams around and with the longer season ahead, so most teams are always looking for the guys who are fully available, so that if something happens to the player in the playing 11, at least they have a player who will not leave them midway through the competition. So if they make sure that they're fully available, then there are a lot of talent in there. Slowly, like one good World Cup got Rishad Hossain a Big Bash league. So it will change quickly, but it's just about making sure they're available fully.
Thank you, Srini. So I want to know who is the most funniest person in Bangladesh cricket for you?
Fun- Funniest, I would say, would be uh, tough one, but like I've had good time. Like I enjoy. Tuskin is actually very funny. Being for a fast bowler is actually very funny. So he's got a good sense of humor as well. Him, and then Litton has got a good sense of humor. So, but he's very serious from an outside point of view. But inside the dressing room, he's actually one of the funniest guys who will do some pranks and other stuff. Tuskin is funny. Then Mustafiz, like he looks very quiet, but he's one of the most naughtiest guy in the dressing room.
Any memorable story or anything? Do you
Story
remember?
like they just keep pranking upon each other, sir. Like more than me, it is the other guys who have actually got stuck into their pranks. So I've just been a viewer, enjoying what has been happening and keeping quiet and seeing and laughing around.
Yeah, understood. So Hiran bhai, it's your turn.
Yeah. So, Srini, have you taken any in terms of like your performance analysis and things like from another sport like baseball or football or another sport? Because I think there's like a lot of similarities between, say, cricket and baseball, for instance, because it's a single ball experience, isn't it? It's so there is similarities there. So, is there any kind of uh, um, anything into the data analysis that you might have picked up from a different
Yes,
sport?
sir. There is a lot of things. The Moneyball term itself has come from baseball, so that has actually helped a lot of teams in actually talent in auction process and other stuff, identifying, saying what value for each player. So the Moneyball stuff has actually come into cricket in a big way. And for cricket in general, like I feel like the knuckleball stuff actually had come from baseball into cricket. So the pitchers who used to bowl that knuckleball, slowly team like the bowlers have identified that and got into cricketing setup. So there are a lot of things which have actually come. A lot of guys actually do a lot of baseball stuff or golf stuff before to increase the power hitting game as well. So a lot of different sports. You try and find out what works into the game, and then if that helps in some or the other way, there is things to be included as well, be it for a cricketer as well, even for me in person as well, like for my analytics as well. So there's a lot to learn from other sport as well, just finding which one suits us.
Does Moneyball play a part in IPL and where when you're selecting players and
Yes, sir. It does, because that's also one of the reasons why we go around watching for domestic leagues. So even like, because before that player makes a big mark, if you can sign up that player, and that player can be the next big thing, and you're not spending much, that player doesn't hit your pocket much. It's a completely different ball game then, because you're spending that money and then use it in a other way, because you've secured one of those price players for a lesser price.
Yes. So Srini, I have another question for you. What is your prediction between upcoming India versus Bangladesh series?
I think test matches, it's one of the most toughest places to play. So I will go in. I'll
Yeah, yeah.
more be lined up towards India. T20s will be an interesting one. I feel like T20s can be challenging. I think it will go in balance, but test I feel like will be more tilted towards India. Probably I just saw their team as well, so that kind of like suits exactly the way the venues are going to be. So test difficult, T20s possibly a good fight here and there. I'll be interested. That's why I said like test will be tough, but how Bangladesh play those two test matches will define a lot from their success, recent success.
Hiran bhai, your prediction?
Yeah, I think I'm not going to disagree with what Srini's just said. I think in terms of it's going to be very difficult. I think what will also the surprise of Nahid and Mahmood will probably have gone now, and the team analysts will be all over them, looking at all of their how they're bowling and variations and everything. So I'm pretty certain that India will then formulate a plan for those bowlers, and so I think it's going to be very tough. I don't think we'll win any of the test games there. I think if we can just if we can take it to the fifth day on the test, I think that'll be a good result for us. So I'm not expecting a win. So I
I
just don't
think
want to lose quite heavily, or so if we can just put in a performance that gets us either to the fifth day or something like that, that'll be a good result from me. Sorry, Srini.
yeah, I think if Bangladesh can repeat what they did in the 2017 one-off test in Hyderabad, if they can
Yeah.
match up to that expectation, probably we might have like a day 5 Test cricket going. But so that will be the challenge for them to have those big hundreds. Like with India, you can't have those 40s, 50s. You need to have those 150s. Like Mushi has to repeat, or someone has to do that Mushi's innings to put yourself in that position to challenge India.
Yeah. So we are on the very last part of this show. So Srini, I want to ask you about Cricket with Sami. Do you want to know anything about Cricket with Sami?
Oh yeah, like I've got like I know like you guys have signed a lot of players, event management company,
Yeah.
which is a lot of our players. Which is I think you have first one in Bangladesh to have an event
Yeah, yeah,
management, or
yeah.
is that
Yeah,
so?
yeah.
Which is a very good thing as well because that's very much needed for the players where they can only focus on cricket and then rest all the part can be taken up by like with the help of you people. So very good initiative, and I wish you guys all the very best.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Srini. So we are going to finish our show. Thank you so much, Srinivas Chandrasekaran. Thank you so much, Hon Mia, for joining with us. Hopefully, we'll work together again. Till then, take care.
Thank you so much. My
Thank,
pleasure.
yeah.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
thank you
Nice.
very much, and take
Thank you.
care.
You too.
Most welcome.
Bye.
See you.